Hello and welcome to MindGrowRadio. I'm your host, Stephanie Kathan, and today we're talking mindset, mentors, and money with relationship and intimacy expert Hilary Silver. And we're going to be talking about the mindset she needed to create that allowed her to embrace her success, why she feels mentoring is so important, and how mindset and mentors made a difference when it came to the money piece of her business. And Hilary's going to share some tips from her own personal growth toolbox, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about today's guest. Hilary Silver is a relationship and intimacy expert. She's a master coach. She's the founder of Hilary Silver Coaching and Consulting and creator of the lifestyle brand Hot, Healthy, Happy, which teaches lovers how to have more intimacy, connection, and satisfaction in their relationship so they can keep their love and passion alive for the long term. Hilary has been featured on Steve Harvey, in Men's Fitness, Women's Health, Martha Stewart Weddings, Cosmopolitan, and Womanista, just to name a few. And it is an honor to have her here with us in the MindGrowRadio studio. Please help me welcome Hilary Silver. Welcome, Hilary.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for having me.
Girl, you are on fire. Oh, my gosh. You're everywhere, and it is so amazing. I did tune into you the other day when you were doing, on Social Media Day, you did a live broadcast from Denver, and that was really fun to tune into you and hear what you had to say about social media and how it played such a huge part in what you've got going on. Congratulations, by the way. I'm very excited for your upcoming Steve Harvey broadcast. That must be amazing.
Thank you. Well, we recorded it at the beginning of May, so for me it's been a long time coming. So yeah, I'm really, really eager to see how it plays out on the actual show, how they edit it, and it's a big mystery to me too. So I'll be tuning in just like everybody else to see how it goes.
How exciting. I want to just dive right into this conversation because it's such a your journey has been just powerful and amazing and inspirational to those of us who've been watching you and watched you just kind of explode onto the scene. And when you look back at your life, say even just 10 years ago, did you imagine that your life would look like it does today?
10 years ago? No. Oh my gosh, I was pregnant with my first kid, and I was actually just excited to be able to be a mom a couple days a week and have my private practice a few days a week. And to me, that was the best of both worlds. And that, you know, at the time, that was all I wanted, and I created that, which is a great achievement in itself, but I had no idea where I would be now. Absolutely not.
So talking about creating, you've created not just professionally, but you created personally. Share a little bit about that, because what you've done is quite amazing.
Yeah, so, you know, I went back to grad school when I was 27 because I had been trying to figure out really what I wanted to do with myself. I knew I couldn't commit to a career that I wasn't excited about, so I just kind of put it off and traveled and explored, and, you know, I did the vagabond kind of dirtbag traveler kind of thing, and I finally figured out what it was that I wanted to do, and so I took a roommate, paid my mortgage with student loans, and went back to grad school. And, you know, everyone told me I couldn't go right into private practice after graduating, but I said, watch me, and I did. And so while I was building my private practice, I was also preparing for like married life and a family. And when I got pregnant with my first child, I decided to quit my job and be all in with my business at the same time, so I didn't have to do, you know, the job thing and growing my business at the same time. Something had to give, and it was a full-time job. So it was really building my business and being a mom at the same time.
Which is incredible. And when it comes to mindset, because when you decided to really bring your message out into the world and become this amazing phenomenon that you've become, it must have taken some sort of mindset creating to be visible, you know, to have the courage to come forth and be visible and use social media the way that you did to bring such value into the world and share your powerful message, but you touched lives at the same time. So talk to us a little bit about how you were able to create that mindset that allowed you to embrace the success that you've been able to achieve.
Well, you know, I consider myself one of the lucky people who I had an awakening early on. So I was raised in a house where standing out was not a good thing, and I was kind of encouraged to be a follower and just do what the crowd is doing and to go along with the flow. And, you know, and so one of the questions I used to hear all the time growing up was, well, what is everybody else doing? And I remember being on campus in college my senior year, walking down the street, having this moment where I just decided I'm not happy because I'm not doing me, and I need to go figure out who that is and what that is. And so that's what a lot of my early travels was really about, was to just define me and differentiate myself and figure out who I really am. And that was when I was 20-ish, 21, 22. And really from then on, before then, because honestly, to travel the world by myself for 8 months the way that I did when I was that young, I feel like that was the moment that on that street that day when I realized it's up to me. And I've been kind of fearless ever since. Even my husband said in our wedding vows that I fear nothing. And it's true. I believe in me, and I want what I want when I want it. So those two things together, I just can make anything that I want for myself happen because I believe that I can. And that's all the mindset that anyone ever needs. Anybody can have whatever it is that they want. Anyone. You just have to believe that you can. That's it.
It's so
really
powerful because most of us are conditioned to believe the opposite, that we can't do it, that we're never going to amount to anything. You know, we all have dreams of being great in the world, and we kind of hear the old thing of get a real job, you're never going to make it doing that, that's a pipe dream, those kind of things. And I imagine that when you decided to talk about the topics that you talk about, which are steamy sex and things that people are afraid to talk about, and you kind of hit those things head on because they affect us all. We don't talk about sex, but it's there, you know, it's part of our lives.
Yeah.
And you have this amazing way of bringing that out and talking about that stuff. Did you find that you hit a lot of opposition when you first decided that this was going to be your specialty?
No, I don't feel like I had opposition at all. I did have some, you know, my husband was like, what are you doing? Why are you on social media so much? Get off your phone. But, you know, he didn't quite understand the direction that I was heading at the time, mostly because I wasn't exactly sure where I was going with it, so I couldn't share that with him. But again, once I found my voice, no one's been able to shut me up since then. And I find that it's really my purpose to invite people to have conversations that they are wanting to have by being willing to start them myself. You know, one of the things that I've learned more than anything in the last 15 years as a therapist is that if it's an experience one of us has had, it's an experience many of us have had, but I know that because I listen to it day in and day out in the privacy of my office. So one of the things that drives me to do the work that I do is to make the covert overt and be willing to talk about the difficult things that are happening behind our closed doors at home and behind the closed doors in my office, because I know those are the conversations that we need to be having. So I'm willing to open up the conversation and share any of my personal journey if it means that it allows somebody else the freedom to start talking about their own journey and releasing shame or letting go of inhibitions is really the only way to be free.
I love that. Let's talk about mentors for a little bit. I know for me, mentoring has been really important, a big part of my journey. Whether I was receiving or giving, it's played a huge part. And Hilary and I actually had the opportunity to mastermind together a couple of years ago. So it's been really amazing to watch her go from idea concept to creating this life with deliberation and purpose and passion. And I'm wondering for you, Hilary, why do you feel, if you do feel, that mentoring is so important? Why is it important to you, and how has it played a part in what you're experiencing now?
Well, I know there's an answer that you'd like me to give, but I'm going to be honest.
No, there's no right or wrong.
I feel like mentorship is something that I've missed out on in my life a lot. I didn't have somebody to look up to growing up. I didn't have anybody in college. I was lacking that connection. I never really had it in business. And the mentors that I have been able to find in business really weren't mentors in the true sense of the word. They were more coaches. They were people who I paid for a period of time, and that was that. And to me, a mentor is somebody who gives of themselves freely, not for fee, and is invested in your growth and your development and your success for the intrinsic value that it brings. And so I have never had that. And so all the success that I've had is really because I'm this lone wolf trying to do it on my own. And I have looked for people to do that for me. I have tried to develop those relationships, and I've had some good coaching along the way. A lot of not good coaching, but some good coaching along the way, but not a mentorship role. And so for me, it's really important to be able to do that for other people. And to me, it's like I can do that with one person at a time. And it really needs to be the right person, somebody who's self-motivated, insightful, wants to grow, can handle feedback, and is eager and has that same fire in their belly that I did, because those are the people that I'm willing to invest my time in. And so, yeah, I feel like it's been something. I wonder where I would be now if I'd had that. Who knows? Further along, I don't know. You never really know. But it's a little bit of a sadness for me when I think about not having somebody all this time. Yeah.
Yeah. When I look at back on my own journey, I think about like the books that I read and the authors that came forward that helped me to kind of cultivate the belief in myself. So when I think of my mentors, half of those people don't even know they were mentors to me. You know what I mean? They were just people who shared their wisdom, and I was able to glean an aha moment from what they shared and help me to take the next step on my own journey. So I totally get what you're saying there. And I also love how your experience of not having that has fueled you to give that in the work that you do and be a mentor for others. So what are some of the ways that you're able to do that? It's on my list for 2018 because I really want to make sure that I'm in the place that I want to be before I do that. But for young people who come to work with me, like I said, it's not a paid thing, so I don't really consider it true mentorship if people are paying me. But I lower my fee for people who like one person at a time who I'm willing to take on. And these are people who are like literally the same age that I was when I had my awakening and I went traveling. And they're doing the work and they're willing to spend the money that I require to work with me. And it's a gift that I then give them to lower the fee and work with them at a much more affordable rate. It's not something that they were looking for, and that's why I like to do it. But I also feel like showing up every day on social media live for the last 2 years
is a way that I can reach people in mentorship. And I'm getting all of this feedback from people who've benefited from my sharing my wisdom, my knowledge, my expertise, my professional tools online in a way. So again, it's not quite the mentorship experience that I'd like to be offering. That will be more formal in next year. But being able to help people who, without charging them is kind of part of my social work foundation. My value is being able to give back. And so I will, but I can't, doing for the masses for free is not something that I can do unless it's just the live video. And that's been so fulfilling for me, being able to reach more people. That's why I started live streaming in the beginning at all, was because I wanted to share this message. It was a fire in my belly that just I had to get out and explore. And it feels so good. It took me 6 months before I even asked people to sign up for my email list after showing up on video every day for so long. So I was definitely leading with that, with my heart and with that purpose. So I hope that answered your question.
Well, yeah, it did. And I was going to say, when you said, it's not like in place yet until 2018, my thought was immediately, you've been sharing value for a while now, doing live streaming, and that is really a powerful thing that you do, because you do offer yourself and you do share your personal stories, and you give people an opportunity to ask you about anything. So I think what you're doing there is extremely powerful and a wonderful inspiration, and showing up like that for yourself and for others. It's an amazing thing that you do. So I just wanted to give you some appreciation for that, because you are really making a difference now. Even though your mentoring program might not be in place, you are mentoring, my friend. You are, in a big way.
Oh, thank you. Well, and then so the reason that I created my membership that I actually just launched not that long ago was so that I could bring more people in at a way affordable rate to work with me in a kind of an inner circle where they're getting mentorship from me. It's affordable. It's less, the whole year is less than one private hour with me, but they get online trainings. And that way it's more sustainable for me to be able to continue to serve in that way. And then people have a little bit of skin in the game, so they're willing more to I think, do the work that they want to be doing. So it's kind of a win-win for both of us in that way. And because I know not everybody can afford private coaching with me or anyone, and I'm still committed to get to helping the masses. So that's what I've developed recently.
Well, I love that. Now, I want to talk about money for a minute, because when we all take this entrepreneurial leap that we take, it's a leap of faith, and you talked about it a little bit, that belief that you have in yourself, which is very, very strong, and an amazing thing when you have that belief that that's strong. When I started, I did not have that, and I struggled a lot with my relationship with money. So as you went through this journey over the last several years, did you find that your relationship with money changed in some way? Your success, certainly, you've certainly elevated in that area, but I'm wondering if your inner relationship with money changed in the process.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. So, I ran a really successful 6-figure therapy practice working 15 hours a week. And when I started the online journey to take my message, to the next level and to break free from the behind the closed doors, I thought I was growing my business. But it turns out that I really was starting a brand new business, because it was a new service delivery, new model, new audience. Everything was new. And I struggled for a while because, as I truly believe that where your focus goes, grows. And I've been focusing online and growing myself online, and that's where my heart has been all this time, and I did realize that I come alive when I'm doing group trainings and I'm doing my women's groups. And so while this is all happening, you know, the local business is kind of slowly starting to fade, and that income was dropping, and I started to get scared. And so I found myself struggling to let go of one to make room for the other, that leap to really be all into this new model that I've been kind of growing. And I just made that leap actually a few months ago. Like, I literally took all the counseling language off my site. I'm not allowing people to work with me in that way anymore. And I'm all into this new method where it's either my membership, my groups, or private coaching with me, and you can't get counseling with me anymore. And so I struggled. I had a lot of sleepless nights where I was like freaking out a little bit. And then one of the things that pushed me into this new way of operating and being all in was a recent book that I just read called The Science of Getting Rich. Have you heard of that, by Wallace Waddell? And I didn't realize that I still had some limiting beliefs about money. I mean, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I've manifested pretty much everything I've ever wanted, but I felt like I was bumping up against something, and I didn't know what it was. And this book helped me realize this one last belief that I had, where it came from, and how to finally get rid of that. And since I did that work, I've just kind of exploded to the next level. It's magic. It's like magic.
That is so powerful in itself, simply because you were able to, you had a question within, what is this block that I'm facing? What is this thing that's gotten stuck to me or in me that's having me struggle this way? The information came to you, and you gleaned from it how to shift that within yourself. You did it, and then the results are there.
Yep.
And a lot of times I feel like we just ask the question and then we don't pay attention to the stuff that comes after we ask the question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's why we get stuck.
And then
we ask the question, but we don't really want to know the answer. And, or we think we know the answer, so we're not open to the new answer.
Yeah. Oh, such good stuff. So I'm wondering, Hilary, if you would mind sharing a few tips, whatever they may be, is fine, out of your own personal growth toolbox. They can be about anything that you want.
Okay, for business success?
For business, mindset, money, any of that stuff.
Okay. Wow. I have a big toolbox, and that's pretty broad, so let's see. I really first think that it starts with you, as everything does, whether it's having the relationship that you want, being more effective in your life in any way. It really starts with you, and the only way that you're going to be able to create whatever it is that you want is by really being willing to be honest with yourself. So awareness and accountability, which is the title of one of the modules in my program, is huge. And people get stuck in the blame game. Well, I can't have it because, I can't have love because blah, blah, blah. Or, it's not going to happen for me because some excuse from the past, or my parents weren't like it, so I'm destined, to not have this. And it's really just have a get real with yourself, and what is it that you want, and why not you? Why not you? Why can't you have this? There's no good reason. And so you just have to figure out what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and focus on the things that you can do and that you are able to do really well, the things that you like to do really well, and then the things that you're not that great at, you could try to improve them, or you can hire them out. Find somebody who can do the parts for you that you can't do. I've spent the last 2 years beating my head against the wall trying to figure out the tech stuff, and I've learned a ton, and I can do a lot of it. but I don't enjoy it and I don't like it that much. And so I've hired it out along the way, and I found somebody finally to partner with me on that side of my business. And I think, again, it goes back to believing that you can have whatever you want. I was able to figure out that solution because I just finally decided I'm not going to do this on my own. If this is going to happen for me, it's going to happen because I bring somebody else on board who can do this with me. So I guess in a nutshell, that little nugget, that tool, was really being truly brutally honest with yourself, knowing yourself really well, and then taking responsibility for it. Like, no excuses, none. That would be my biggest, best tool, starting there.
Yeah, and I feel from you like you are all in everything that you do. And I love the way that you say it. I can feel your energy when you declare it, and I believe it when it comes from you. And I think that's one of the things that you're inspiring within me, is to just go all in with whatever decision that I make. So that's juicy. That's really good.
It is. If you're not all in, then it's not going to happen. All in, and I say that with people who are struggling in their relationships, you need to be all in, and then if it doesn't work, fine, you can get out. But be all in, and that means your money goes there, your time goes there, your intention goes there, your effort goes there, your focus goes there, and pull yourself back on track. And then if it doesn't work after that for however long, and you feel like you need to hang in, fine, then you can look at other options and leave. But, and for me, it was all in with this coaching thing. Stop messing around trying to straddle both worlds, the online and the offline. And my goal is to get rid of my office in a year. I can't just cut that part off immediately. I still have local clients who I'm loyal to. But, being all in your mentality and your mindset, because if you're half in and half out, it's not going to happen. The world, the powers that be out there beyond us won't make it happen for you. You make it happen for you.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. You have shared some really powerful stuff, Hilary. Thank you so much for being with us. Listeners, Hilary is going to be on Steve Harvey on July 11th, so be sure to tune in to her for that. Tune into the Steve Harvey Show for that. You can learn more about Hilary by visiting her website, hilarysilver.com, HILARYSILVER.com. Check her out. She's amazing. Tune into her. Follow her on Twitter. Get to know her because she goes all in and she will take you with her. And Hilary, thank you so much. Do you have any last words you'd like to say to the listeners before we go?
Oh, no, I'm good. I think I said a lot. I'm a talker.
You did. You shared a ton of great stuff. Listeners, please tune in to Hilary. Check her out. Get to know her. She's an amazing woman. It's been an honor to be here with her today. And until we meet again, listeners, keep shining in your brilliance. You are loved more than you know, and we will see you on the other side. Bye-bye, everyone.